Welcome to It's Called Reality,
the discourse for people who give a shit.
I'm Willow.
I'm Brianna. And today we're going to get into the most popular up-and-coming game show phenomenon of Traitors. There will be spoilers. This is not a spoiler-free zone. You have been warned. Actually, I've only seen seasons 3 and 4 in entirety. Maybe season 2 as well. I have not seen season 1 of the US Traitors.
Okay.
I say Traitors because that's my Canadian accent. So I'm going to do my best to say Traitors with a T and not a D.
You can lean into your Canadian accent. It's fine. We're not fooling anybody.
We're watching the Traitors, bud.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, for sure.
If you're not familiar with what Traitors is, it's a game that's essentially like Werewolf or Mafia that maybe you've played at like summer camp before, where there's a group of people and they must decide who the traitors are amongst them and who are the faithfuls. And every night, the traitors have an opportunity to murder a faithful, and every day, the faithful have an opportunity to vote together to banish a traitor. And something that I thought was really interesting when I was learning about this is that the concept of the traitors, which I think was originally called Mafia, but it was originally a social experiment that was created in 1986 by a guy who was studying at Moscow State University to model how an informed minority can defeat an uninformed majority, which, you know, is very Soviet Union. Yeah.
Interesting. That's so funny. I did not know that. How did you learn that? It's just common knowledge?
I probably heard it in like someone else mention it in another podcast, and then I like looked into it more.
Gotcha. Interesting. Yeah. Wow. Okay, so the game has been around for a lot longer than the show. I mean, we played together. Somebody introduced me and then I just fell in love with it. And then we called it Mafia when we played. Yeah. And we would play with like my Harry Potter deck of cards, and like the 4 houses would represent the role that you played. There's so many different versions, but yeah, we would have the Mafia, we would have the innocent people, and then sometimes we would have, it's like an all-seer, so they acted like the shield, so they could choose one random, maybe it's called the doctor, and they could choose like one random person to save. But sometimes we didn't play that way, and oh my god, it would get so heated, and you just really learned more about each other and who are games people and who aren't games people, because the people who are games people are like so invested and want to play again, and the people who aren't games people would chug their beer and leave.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's definitely lots of different iterations, and I feel like I started playing as like a couple years before COVID, and I hadn't played ever before then.
I honestly feel like maybe we even played like in elementary school even. Like I remember like the doctor, but like I had forgotten about that until much later then we started playing. And then so for the show, there's the UK version, which I don't even know how many seasons there are, but there's more than the US. I haven't really watched much of that one.
Me
either. So I think we're going to focus more on the US series in this episode.
I have to know the Canadian one. Have you watched the Canadian one?
I watched the most recent Canadian one. And I think maybe the Canadian version is like this too, but the UK series I think started with all like regular people, which I think is a very different show than
100%.
The US series, which has all reality stars from like all of these other reality shows, which I actually prefer. Oh, it's just a different show, but I actually prefer it. Like, I think it makes it fun to watch because it's bringing in all these different fan bases. And then you get to see how these like different skill sets that people bring in from these other shows, like how they translate and how they work together.
The Canada one is split, which is why it's even weirder. It's half, I'll call them lay people, and then half, some of it's reality TV stars, some of them are influencers. Mostly reality TV and influencers, but
some sort of public figure.
Yeah, public figure. There we go. Public figure.
Season 1 of the US was like that too, actually. And you should really watch season 1 of the US. It's really good.
Okay. Yeah. I'll have to go back.
So there's all these different reality stars that are competing in the US one, and like the collision of those groups is part of the show. And like the different like playbooks and like skill sets that you have from being on your different shows. There's like the housewives, which are like emotional manipulation is what they're good at, and like high drama. And they're also like really good at defending themselves and at conflict, because that's a part of the show, right? Is defending yourself against accusations, right?
Yeah. And communicating like what they need to say quite quickly. Feel like a lot of times, especially Survivor players or gamers, they have a hard time articulating what's happening or addressing the conflict in the moment, because part of their strategy is very much, it's strategic, whereas housewives are just like, and it's very different style of living your life and also the way that you play Traitors.
Right. Yeah, the game shows they want control of what's happening. And yeah, that's hard to do when you're like going up against people who are so, no, this is happening right now in the moment.
Frenetic.
Yeah. And then the love shows too have their own skills that they bring in too. It's just like a different type of strategy in some ways, but I also think like
they have strategies.
Some of them, you know, some are good and some are not as good. But like I think that some of them have a higher social emotional intelligence. They're good at the social game generally.
Yeah, that's fair.
They're good at least for The Bachelor, it's like you have to figure out who's there for the right reasons or the wrong reasons, right? So they're like practiced in sniffing out if people are lying to them.
That's interesting. I never thought of that. Sniffing out if they're lying to them or what their intentions are. Yeah. If their heart is really in the game. Yeah, no, I understand. I never thought of that before, actually. Because I just think of Maura, who, God bless her, but she didn't even know you voted people out. Simply just for the vibes. No strategy, but then you also have Rob Roush, so strategic. But I don't think his strategy comes from the game. But I think what you said about the Bachelor people, that makes sense, actually.
Yeah, it's just interesting to see all of those collide and like who people expect are going to do well, and then like the gamers, right, are always targets immediately.
Yeah.
And I mean, they usually have done quite well in the past. It's just like this recent season that the gamers didn't do as well.
Because, I feel like they are just like target really quick.
Also, I think because in the first 2 seasons, they do really well. And so that like extra puts a target on them for the new people coming in, which isn't super, like it's just a kind of a disadvantage that they have to work with. Okay, so there's kind of this information asymmetry from day one where the traitors know everything and the faithfuls know almost nothing. And then they're like constructing the reality of the show from these incomplete signals. To be a traitor in the show, you have so much control. Like it's such an advantage.
Oh yeah. You start to manipulate who is making relationships with each other. Yeah. Because you don't want to look too pally-pally with your other traitors. But then you're also like, well, you start to build relationships with people based on who you want to because of how you want to control the game. And that already is a huge advantage. I like the game because I used to play the game. So I think already having an inside knowledge of playing the game, I think it's also interesting to watch. But I mean, we can't talk about Traitors without talking about Alan Cummings. I almost put a ball gown on to film because I wanted to get me into character. I literally almost texted you. I was going to be like, should we just wear our fanciest dress and bedazzle our faces?
That was a missed opportunity.
Should we pause now and go get ready?
Yeah, because so much it's almost become this like sub game is the fashion. Like you're saying, Maura, she was like just there for the fashion.
For like 55 different wigs. Yeah. But like so like I remember Chriselle having really good outfits and all the housewives obviously have great outfits. And even like Jam, he had great outfit. Even Colton honestly had good outfits too.
Yeah, and like all of them, like that's like a part of it now is like dressing up. Even like Rob was wearing versions of his outfits.
He was pretty styled. His nipples out overalls. That was a style. It worked. I'm unfortunately very bought in. But yeah. So Alan Cummings, iconic. Honestly, he is just so good. He really sells it. And I like watching interviews with him afterwards too, like talking about the character that he brings. I really like that. Getting to see Lala, the best.
Yes, every time I see Lala, it's his dog. She's so cute. But yeah, he fully understands the assignment and he commits to it. And it's honestly having a good host can like make or break a show, I feel like, because so I find in like Survivor, Jeff lives and breathes Survivor and it comes through. And like I think that's a part of why the show is successful and like why the fans are so invested. And Alan obviously is really committed to this too. Obviously he's playing like a character, but the Traitors is so campy, you know, that it's like that's part of it. It's just perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's there enough that you still watch him actually controlling quite a bit of what goes on. I don't know. I always look forward to him coming in, and every single time he'll have a pun, and just like when someone gets voted out into the breakfast room, says a pun, smashes their photo on the ground. We watch everybody react to it, and he leaves. And he does that every single episode. You'd think it'd be boring, but I love it. I love hearing the pun. I love watching what he's going to do. I love it. The outfit he comes in, like all of it. I really like him.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
know what it reminds me of a little bit? Because in every episode he has like a slightly different outfit, but generally they're like in the same like kind of theme for the season. I would different types of tartans or whatever. Like, and it gets
Yeah.
crazier and crazier. It
Different
reminds me
hair
of,
colors.
do you remember in America's Next Top Model, Tyra would always have like from episode 1 to like the end in every like judging panel, she would have, there'd be some sort of like little gimmick she would do. So it would be like getting like bigger and bigger. Or maybe it wasn't
No,
her.
I don't.
Maybe it was Miss J. It's one of them. They would get like bigger and
Oh
bigger
my
shoulder
God.
pads, or like crazier, bigger and bigger hair, or whatever. In every and you'd want to watch to
I
see
didn't know.
like what each episode's progression was. Yeah.
I never clocked that. That's so funny. No, I don't think I ever put that together. But yeah, that it's the same vibes for sure. That's funny. Why else do I like the Traitors? I also watch a lot of reality TV, obviously, as we've covered. So getting to see some favorites and some not so favorites play again. I already have a buy-in, so I'm already invested in certain people. And I like getting to watch people I like and don't like on TV again. Because I already innately have people I want to root for. Yeah. Or be like, ooh, how are they going to play? What's going to go on? So I think all of that, yeah, I like watching the people and the game. And obviously, as with all reality TV, I like watching it because I know a lot of people in my real life who watch it. And so it's something to talk about when it comes out and just create my own social connections in the real world, which I always find super interesting.
It's appointment television, which, because it comes out weekly
I like
too,
that.
which I really like, instead of like a big drop of episodes where you just binge it all in a week or whatever.
I'm so bad these days at binging everything at once. So I like the bite size.
Yeah. And there's so much less scripted television that's appointment television now. Like the Game of Thrones, it's like every Sunday night, everyone was watching it and then everyone talks about it throughout the week. And then it's like the next episode. And I do think, these reality TV shows like The Traitors and Survivor like kind of fill that void a little bit. Yeah.
It is nice because you're like, okay, this is 2.5, 3 months of something I get to look forward to. I do love a good binge, but the high is so high, then it crashes. And then if you miss the initial high, you're done. Yeah. Everyone's already talked about it. No one wants to talk about it anymore. Even if you're like a week or two late, everyone's already had these conversations. I'm done. Yeah. So appointment TV. I hadn't heard that. I like that.
I agree. Like, I just enjoy the game. So I think I would like even watching it just with like non-reality normal people. Like, I think I would enjoy that too. It is just a different game because money actually matters to them. It's like there's real stakes. Where in the reality TV star version, like, same thing. I like to watch it because I like these people. I want to see what they're going to do. I know that they're going to entertain me. And it's like part of the campiness of it. It's like reality TV to the max. It's like super self-referential. And if you like reality TV, like you'd like The Traitors because it both takes it seriously and not so seriously, in this like perfect
that's a good
way.
Point.
The reality TV professionals are the cast. So they know how to perform.
The best of the best, or like it's not their first rodeo. They're familiar with how a TV show runs and operates.
Yeah. They know how to like get screen time and like do the in the moments like talking heads parts and like all that stuff. Yeah. Provide good commentary and
is it like watching your sim?
Yeah, it's less like that than like the Love Island-ness because it's more, the characters are more obvious. It's like less,
a little faster paced too.
But I do get really invested in like the gameplay. Like I do just really like the game and like getting so like I get emotionally invested in when the faithfuls aren't figuring it out at the round table and you're like, no, you're so close if they go in like the wrong direction or whatever, right? Like I
agree.
Okay, so do you root for the faithfuls or the traitors while you're watching?
Oh, I flip-flop. I root for the person. Normally I root for, well, I don't know. I don't like when a traitor gets caught because I'm like, oh, they did it. But I also usually, I don't know. You're like, I don't want to root for the faithfuls either. I don't want the traitors to win because I don't want them to never vote out a traitor. But I also don't want the faithfuls to win because that's just boring if they get a traitor out every time. So I don't know. I root for the person. Honestly, in the last season 4, I was rooting for Rob. About halfway through the season, I was like, this guy's playing such a good game. I want him to win.
Yeah, I think that I agree. It depends on the person and like who's playing a good game, whether a faithful or a traitor. that I want to root for. But I think like
Yeah.
at my core, I'm rooting for the faithfuls. I want them to find the traitors. And that's why I get so mad when they're like, even though I know they don't have all the information and they're literally just going off vibes a lot of the time, I just get so frustrated with them when they get manipulated so easily. But I will agree that last season 4 with Rob, I did eventually start rooting for him just because
he was just so good.
just because I'm like, the faithfuls didn't deserve it because they were so bad. I was like, oh my god. Like, if you're not gonna put the pieces together, like, you don't deserve it. And it's Rob. But even to the very end, even in the last episode, I had some hope that Maura was gonna figure it out. I was like,
she did leave some breadcrumb. Yeah. You got it.
Come on, girl, you can do it. And then she doesn't.
I know. And she couldn't. And watching that scene of her understand that Rob was a traitor, I rewatched it 3 times because I feel like the first time I watched it, I emotionally blacked out. I didn't fully absorb everything that just happened. It was like when I was personally proposed to, and I don't remember a thing that my husband said. And thank God that Traitors were back on film. I just rewound it and watched it again. I was like, as it's happening, I was like, my brain cannot actually take in what's happening. I'm emotionally overstimulated. And then the second time watching it, I was like, oh my God, that's heartbreaking. And then I rewatched it again because then I was just like, and now I need to watch how Rob's delivering. The first time I was watching Maura and like how upset she was. And then I went back and watched Rob's reaction to him delivering it. And I was like, oh, this guy is so comfortable with uncomfortable feelings. Yeah. He was just so good. But yeah, that was so hard to watch. However, I watched it 3 times.
Let the record show that Brianna is as emotionally invested in the Traitors as she was her own proposal. That's sickness right there. And I'm for it.
I can't help that I have feelings that I didn't learn how to control at a young age and I get emotionally overstimulated.
Okay, so just the threshold is low. That's a low threshold.
The threshold is low. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so let's say this podcast launched you into semi-reality starness. You became eligible to play U.S. Traitors. How would you play? Are you playing as a faithful? Are you playing as a traitor? What's your game plan?
Yeah, it's hard because so much of it is based on luck. I guess if I was a reality star, then you want to be a traitor because that's like guarantees you to be in the game for longer. You get screen time every episode. Every episode is about you. Like Candace said in season 4, like the show is called The Traitors. It's not called The Faithfuls. It's like you're the main character. So in that hypothetical, like it's like, yeah, obviously I'd want to be a traitor because it's easier to win as a traitor. Like it just is because you have all the
your
information.
Odds are just better.
But I think as myself, reality, me, I would want to play as a faithful because being a traitor, I already overanalyze and like have a lot of anxiety about like how I'm being perceived and not maybe understanding how I'm being perceived and all that. And like going into like a high pressure game like that where you have to be hyper aware, like I think that would send me into psychosis.
You and me both. But don't you think, I still think all that stuff that you're saying is true, even if you're a traitor. It's just that it's like you perceiving that you're coming off as a traitor when you're not, but you're playing as a traitor. It's like you're worried about being perceived as a traitor and you are. It's almost, I feel like it's the same level of paranoia and it almost might be worse as a faithful because you're like, I don't want to come off as a traitor and there's nothing I can do because I'm not a traitor.
Yeah. And I think that
and then if people call you out, you're like, why did they think I was a traitor? I literally wasn't even trying to be a traitor.
Yeah, so it's like, do you think you would win? Like, I would try and win. Like, you gotta believe in yourself if you're gonna go in. Like, gotta back yourself, of course. But it's so hard to win. Like, and my downfall would definitely be like everybody's, but I think just like putting too much trust in the wrong person, right? That'd be so devastating. It's like going through like any sort of breakup. I don't know if you've ever been through like a friendship breakup, even where it's like you thought that the relationship was one way and it wasn't, and you're like, whoa, and that's earth-shattering.
Total mindfuck. I feel like it's honestly too almost worse. I feel like getting voted out would be the mindfuck. Getting murdered, not so bad. Getting murdered, you're like, Dang, that's such, I really wanted to play. But I think watching people vote you out and then seeing who you trusted vote you out, like that's really hard.
As much as
Getting
you
murdered would be my preferred way to go out.
yeah, as even though that it sucks because you have no control.
Yeah. I wonder if they Survivor style do Ponderosa after and they all live together and talk with each other after the filming's done. I wonder what that process is like, because I feel like being able to in real time talk with the people who just left before you and talk to people who left immediately after you would give you quite a bit of closure, as opposed to just stonewall, not talk to anybody for the next few weeks or months.
I think they only film over like 2 weeks.
2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
It's not very long.
What about you? How would you play the Traitors?
Oh, 100% I need to play as a faithful. I cannot take the pressure as a traitor for 1,000%. Yeah, just like for all the reasons that you said. I already overthink. I already am paranoid. And if I'm playing people who I don't know and I care about making a relationship, I also want to make genuine relationships. I think playing as a traitor, I'd already be manipulating the type of relationship that I'd be building because I'm too focused on the game. I couldn't play that way, I don't think. And yeah, I want to be part of the bigger team. I don't want to be part of the small team trying to fool everyone. I want to be part of like the big team working together. But for sure, I know I would never win. I would never make it to the end. I don't think I would be banished. I think I would be murdered.
I don't think anyone would suspect you ever. I think you would be murdered because you'd be like the lead faithful.
Too faithful.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I feel like. Or be like, oh, no one's suspecting Brianna. Should we just murder her?
Yeah. And I do think that you have quite a bit of like social pull.
Because thank you so much.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's part of it too. That's like the pro of like, you're saying like, oh, you really want people to like you. So you're putting a lot of effort into that. And that's not, obviously that has its cons, but that has pros too, right?
Yeah.
And like,
that's true.
So then it's like, yeah, people like you.
But then I'm like, am I going to come across like Maura and just be like,
no, you're
not very smart.
No, you're much, no offense to Maura, you're much smarter than Maura.
I do also feel like I think I trust my own gut feelings too much. So I'm like, I'm going to have an inkling and be like, it's Willow. And then just confirmation bias everything you do to feed in that theory, even though it could be like 100, it'll be 100% wrong. But I'm like, no, I've already bought in. Must keep going.
This is the thing about the game in general, because like I was saying, I love the game, but it has holes. And the main one is that you're not really incentivized as a faithful to get traitors out. You're incentivized to know who they are and then keep that information until the end. Because if you get them out, the game just pulls in another traitor and you're basically starting from square one again.
I hate that part. That part makes sense to keep a game show going. Makes no sense to play the game. Yeah, I agree. I think that part's super stupid that you just, if you get a traitor out, another one comes in.
Yeah, but if they get all the traitors out in 3 days, like back to back to back, you could still edit the show to be like 11 episodes or whatever. You would just like...
But then maybe you have to just do a little lie and a little you have to pull your edit hat on and just make it happen. But yeah, no, I agree. I think that part's dumb. I think it was the lot. Maybe it was Canada where they're like, oh, when you find a traitor, we add $10,000 to the pot. But I'm like, that's not a good enough incentive.
No.
10 grand.
Yeah. Especially in like the celebrity seasons where like, these people are making way more than what the prize pot ends up as, like in one brand deal.
Correct. So this is common knowledge now because amongst like the FYP of traitors that, it's in your best interest to know who the traitors are and work your game around eliminating everybody else and keeping them to the end and then eliminating them 1, 2, 3 at the very end. But no one plays like that. So it's like, knowing what we know, why aren't they playing like that? Do you think they've been told that they can't? Or like, what do you think?
I don't know, because at least in the American version, because you didn't watch season 2, but Sandra from Survivor isn't... Or no, you did watch season 2.
Oh, no! I did watch season 2. Season 2 is Sandra and Parvati, right?
Yeah. And Parvati... Yeah. I'm sorry, and Sandra kind of originates that strategy where she knows that Phaedra is a traitor. She has said later that she did know, and she gets to like final 5, I think, before she gets voted out. So she gets quite far with it because she knows she's like, okay, I'm gonna be a best friend with the traitor who's gonna protect me. They're also not gonna murder me because they think I trust them so much. and they'll take me
I'm
to
gonna
the
vouch
end.
for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she was like someone who originated that. And then I think at least she has said since then that maybe production discourages that. But I don't know how they
Obviously.
would. I don't know how they would though, because then wouldn't it be obvious who the traitor was? Like, wouldn't they be giving it away?
I think they just cast more chaotic humans who absolutely cannot be convinced of how to play in the best interests of everybody else.
Yeah.
And they just let them freaking ruin it. Like, Michael Rappaport, never knew his name beforehand, knew his face. He instantly peed me off from the first 2 seconds he showed up on the screen.
And everybody.
Yeah, chaos, unorganized, evil chaos. Like, you can't control or convince somebody like that. And honestly, Loki season 3 of Tom Sandoval, like, he wasn't evil chaos, but he was chaos. And I feel like you have to throw someone in there, just be like, I'm not gonna do what makes the most sense. I'm just here to get my. Do they get paid? I'm just here to get paid. Yeah, he was just there to stir the pot, I guess.
I also think the challenges should have more stakes to them. Like, I don't think that they should be like winning money. I think the prize pot should just be what it is, like in Survivor.
Yeah.
And the challenges should get you immunity or what. I guess you can get a shield. It should be something that's like more high stakes so that the challenges actually matter and aren't just fake. Nonsense.
I think that too. I think fake is, but they're so entertaining. A part of me was like, should we call this episode like
oh, Tom Sandoval. What a gift, really. What a gift to reality.
I almost need to watch. Oh my god, honestly, so iconic.
He is the best kind of villain because he's easy to not like because he is just like a sleazy guy, but like he's not a criminal. You know what I mean? He's not like a literal criminal. He cheated on his girlfriend of 10 years, whatever. Like, he's a bad guy, but like he's not out here doing domestic abuse or whatever. So.
Correct. To me, in my eyes, for what I know of him, which is one episode or one season of Traitors. Yeah. So I never watched Vanderpump, but I'd heard the goth. But yeah, like chaotic for good. But I love watching him and Chriselle just absolutely hating on him for like literally just existing. I'm friends with Ariana. I just don't like you. And Tom's like, okay. And like every week she'd write his name down. Like, Chriselle, no worries. Tom, I just don't like you. And everyone's like, Chriselle, get it together. But yeah, no, I agree. Tom is great TV, but chaotic TV. And yeah, no, God bless. But yeah, so I agree. I think the challenges are like a performance of our entertainment. And that's kind of it. And then they add money to the pot, which is kind of arbitrary because at any point the next challenge could be like double or half. They just choose how much money they're going to add by like where the pot's at and all that stuff. I would like to see, did you ever watch The Mole?
Yes. I don't remember it very well, though.
Quick synopsis. There's a group of, I can't remember, 10 humans. One of them is the mole. So one person is trying to jeopardize who makes it to the end. And the mole, like very similar to Traitors, has extra information, knows a bunch of information. They're trying to sabotage challenges because, I can't remember exactly, but it's like for every time the mole sabotages the group, the mole has a reward.
Right.
I can't remember exactly the specifics, but essentially you want to get the mole out and you want to get them out as early as possible of the game. So at the end of every challenge, they ask everyone questions of, okay, so you have to guess who the mole is, and then you're answering questions based on who you think it is. So it'll be like, the mole is under 6 feet tall, and then you're like, yes or no. And then if who you're thinking is the mole is accurate, then your answers are correct. And if you're wrong, then you're not going to get the right answer.
Right.
And then the person who had the least amount of answers correct, so who for sure is off the mole, they leave. So you want to know who the mole is, and you're incentivized to stick around if you guess who it is.
Okay.
But I would like to see some aspect of that, because it's like, okay, if the traitors sabotage this challenge, they get an extra incentive, or what easily comes to mind is they get extra money that doesn't go towards plot. They just immediately win $5,000, or they immediately can veto all the shields that were won this round. Or if there was a side quest that the traitors had to do during a challenge that would also potentially draw attention to the fact that they were traitors, kind of like the murdered in plain sight. Okay, you have to drop your sandbag into this gold hole, but everyone else is trying to get them on the opposite side of the field and all the green holes, or something like that, where it's like, why did that happen? That's so random. Like, why would one person go and do that and you have to do it without being caught? I would like to see something like that where it's like the mole or the traitor has to do a certain side quest, but people don't know what the side quest is. The faithfuls don't know what the side quest is. And so everything within a challenge can be suspicious because you don't know what it is. Kind of like Murder in Plain Sight, but like every time you play the challenge. I would like to see something like
where
that.
There's a little more risk to the traitors. Like,
yeah. And it gives faithfuls an opportunity to guess who the traitor is without just blindly going off of... Because right now they don't have anything. It's just, who are you? Oh, I think a traitor would not give me a lot of information. Or I think it's traitor on traitor fighting. It's literally just no information, which we might talk about later. But yeah, I think it would be nice to kind of give them a little bit of information to be able to go off of to make more of an informed decision. Not make it obvious. They have to kind of work for it.
Yeah, I like that.
Also, as a viewer, loved the season 4 twist of the surprise traitor. I was so disappointed that they got out immediately because it had such strong potential. I personally, as an audience member, would love to watch an entire season where we don't know who the traitors are and we're watching blind. I would love to see that, and then them do what they did before and show us all the scenes afterwards once somebody gets voted out.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I don't know though. I think I that could be good, but I do really like the gameplay part of it. I really like the strategy side of things, and so I do enjoy watching the traitors and knowing why they make the decisions that they make.
It's fair. It's good to watch.
But I think that could definitely be entertaining in like a social way too. Like everyone having their takes of who's the traitor and everything.
Yeah. I am not saying every season. I would love a 10th anniversary, like season 10 being like, this is super crazy and that's what we're doing, and then doing something like that. I think that would be cool. But I do think in a broad, like every season, I like the way that we have it now. I just think it would be cool once to see everything from the faithful's perspective, because right now we see everything basically through the traitor's perspective.
That's true, and that's why you're so hard on the faithfuls, because you're like, how are you not seeing this?
You're so dumb.
Yeah. Okay, so how to win the traitors? What are our theories on like the best ways to do that?
Well, as a faithful or as a traitor?
Good call. Okay, first of all, as a traitor,
I haven't seen it yet, but I would love to watch all the multiple traitors win together. I would like to see united traitors win. It hasn't been done yet. I think everyone ends up just turning on each other, or one person gets found out, or one person gets worried about themselves, so they throw someone else under the bus. I totally get it. You got to save yourself. I get it, but I do think if Maura and season 4 didn't say, we need to get Eric out, I think Rob would have gone to the end with Eric. I think he would have. He didn't have any incentive to vote Eric out until Maura wanted to cut him, and then he was like, I have to cut Eric.
No, he didn't. They could have just got Maura out at the final 3.
That's true. Oh, that's true.
I know. You just want to believe the best of him because he's so handsome.
It's my biggest downfall. Because he's so handsome. Because nipples out in the overalls. Because Snake.
Who among us can resist those snake tattoos on those biceps? And I hate it about myself. Because I'm like such an obvious fuckboy. I'm like, I will not be tricked.
Yes. Gullible. It worked. But yeah, no, you're right. They could have voted Maura out. But I guess once the temptation was there of, oh, this is a guaranteed win for the whole cast for me, then he took it. So I would love to see multiple traitors go to the end. I don't know if that's within human nature, and like as you playing as a traitor, I don't know if you in your heart of hearts plan on going to the end with more traitors. Maybe you are just like, I want to go solo.
Yeah, I don't think it's happened in the US version, at least. They always turn each other, which I think every is time. A mistake.
And like early.
But yeah,
I do too. Do you know, obviously season 4, Rob is the traitor 1. Season 3, the faithfuls 1. Seasons 1 and 2, was it?
I think faithfuls win in season 2. It's 2 faithfuls.
Okay.
And do you want me to spoil season 1 for you?
Yeah.
Okay, it's a traitor, and it's Suri, and she's the best who to ever do it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I knew she was in season 1, but because I hadn't watched it, I remember her being a traitor too, but I didn't know. Okay, interesting. She's just her social game.
I'm so glad that she won.
Oh god, she's just amazing.
So good. It's amazing to watch. Yeah.
And every time everyone goes in knowing her social game is unreal, and every time people are like, I'm bought in. How? You know he's like the best social. You just know.
I know. That's why season 1 is so fun to watch, because it's a mix reality players and like civilians, and you just watch Suri clean up. Those civilians have no idea what's coming for them, and she just destroys that game. She's so good, but it's fun to watch.
Puppet Master.
It's still fun to watch, and you're like, you're glad that she wins in the end. So that is one where I was definitely rooting for the traitor. It's Suri.
How did she win?
This is the strength of her social game. She gets to the end with another traitor, and they could have won together. But she, in like the final 4, like at the fire thing, she gets, it's Ari, who's a bachelor. I don't know if you ever.
I didn't see a season, but.
It's a traitor that was recruited, and she gets him somehow. I forget exactly the details, but she basically gets him to admit that he's a traitor and leave the game on his own. Because he's like, I don't need the money. And he like, because he loves Suri so much that he's like, I want it to happen.
You're lying. That's so funny. Well, now I have to watch. I don't even care about the ending. I have to watch. That's hilarious. And also, she's just amazing. I think if I met her in real life, I would be speechless.
Totally. Okay, in general, what makes a good player, do you think?
What do you think?
In general. Okay, it's not necessarily the smartest person or the most strategic person. But it's someone who understands, someone with high emotional and social intelligence, because you have to understand the like information environment that you're in and the dynamics that are happening. You have to be a highly social player to win.
I think you also have to have high self-awareness. I feel like a lot of people have high like other awareness, and then their gap is they don't understand how they're being perceived or how they could be perceived. I think high self-awareness also makes you a good player. People who come out of the gate swinging, or like even in season 3, like Boston Rob versus Bob the Drag Queen. Boston Rob should have known that traitor on traitor big call out on Bob the Drag Queen. That was his downfall. That was his mistake, and it's because of he was right, but the words that he chose and the monologue he gave, the way he did it, was wrong, and that is what got him out. Because again, he was also puppet mastering. I love Boston Rob.
I know,
obsessed with him. 25-year-old Boston Rob. I can't. Yeah, I do think that if he was a little bit more self-aware, and even in his Survivor game as well, he comes off very, what do they call it, mob boss? Mafia boss. He just wants to control so much, and it's like you just need to dial it back and let people make their own decisions a little bit as well, come to their own conclusions, do the breadcrumbs, but don't force their hand.
That's something that Boston Rob and Rob Roche have going for them, is they're both people that other people just want to like them. You know, they just have something about their energy. I think it's just like, at least in Rob Roche's, in his case, he has like quiet confidence, but he's also like very handsome. And kind of people think he's a little bit dumb though, so it's like non-threatening. And so people just want him to like them. And because he's evil, he definitely uses that to his advantage and manipulates people. I'm sorry, I don't think you're evil, but I'm just like...
Well, as soon as Maura at the end says, oh, you're never getting a girlfriend, you're a really good liar. That just honestly summed it all up. But yeah, just watching him and then watching her understand everything he said had an ulterior motive. Oof.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think, charismatic is great. I think in your real life, you have to have some influence in order to be able, as a traitor, to get people on board. Even as a faithful, I guess. Like, I will say, I was rooting for Mark Ballast from Dancing with the Stars in season 4, and he made it so far, and we got nothing. His edit, nothing. We didn't learn anything about him. The show didn't make anyone fall in love with him. I was so excited to get to see more of his, and he's a really big fan of Traitors as well, so he was really excited to play. And you could see in some of like his last episodes that he has such a strategic mind and he's really smart, but I think he was like boring smart, too smart strategy. He wasn't like that dialed up version of himself for the TV, which was so disappointing because I wanted more people to like him as much as I liked him on Dancing with the Stars. So I also think that, like, to make a good player, we have to get to know you. So you also have to, like, kind of come in with an angle as to how you're gonna win the fans over too. Carolyn in season 3, God, I just love her so much. She's
I know.
so funny.
I love Carolyn. But she is somebody, I love her just because she's funny and entertaining.
Yeah.
But also because it's like a unique play style that isn't played that often. And if only she could articulate it better.
I know.
She'd be unstoppable. But like,
yeah,
she just can't quite nail that part of it. And
100%.
Because
100%.
she has the like, people just underestimate her because they assume she's just this weird kooky lady, and she is.
I mean, not wrong.
Yeah,
but she's also more than that.
But she also does know what's going on, and she's really smart.
Yeah.
And I remember in her first season of Survivor, Dylan and I were like super interested in her because she'd been an addict and then now works with addicts, and like I just think
in recovery, yeah,
and that takes a high level, obviously, of like emotional and social intelligence.
Yeah, she's a super interesting backstory.
Yeah,
and not that I know much about it, but just from what I know from her time on Survivor. And I remember like when she was in, like, she is considered like a final 3 or a 0 vote finalist in Survivor. And I just remember being like, okay, can Carolyn pull it together? In her sidebars, she is making such good points. She's talking about all the big moves that she made. Can she remember her script and answer the questions in the way that she's be answered? And she completely missed the ball. And she could have pulled votes. She had the moves. She just couldn't convince people. And I think we saw it exactly the same on Traitors as well.
Yeah.
Where like she'd go into the turret and she'd be like, and then her sidebar, she'd be like, no, we can't vote for we can't banish this person because blah, 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 blah. And it's like, she's right, but then she wouldn't say it in the turret, or she couldn't convince. Yeah. I'm like, she has all the right ideas, but I guess in the moment, maybe it's like one of those things where she goes back after and she's like, now that I've reflected, I know what my gut feeling is, but at the time she can't articulate it. And yeah, so I totally agree with what you're saying. I will say that to win, in terms of the logistical part of winning Traitors, I hate the whole last episode, like the way that it's set up. To win, you have to make it through a round table, and then you banish somebody, and then you don't find out if that person's a traitor or a faithful. Okay, fine. And then you're stuck with 4 or 5 people that then go, which they don't need to go outside, but they always go outside to the fire pit, and then one would try and throw some blue powder into a fire. They could just verbally say if they want to continue to banish or if they're happy to stop, but no, they make it dramatic and they throw a flame. Like, it just takes so long to just get to the point. I'm like, can we just raise hands? This would be done. Like,
no, that's part of the game.
You
the
like
over-the-top
like
campness. I don't
just
necessarily
so
like
long.
it, but I think it's true to the game.
I hate it. At least if they're gonna do it, everyone throwing in at the same time, and then the fire turns the color, and you don't know who wanted it to change, and then you go. But this one at a time option, it just takes so long, and there's multiple rounds if they do banish somebody, and yeah, I don't love that part. And even I feel like what they should camp up is more of okay, everyone who's left. Are you a faithful? Are you a traitor? But it's literally just Willow. I am, and always have been, a faithful, and that's so boring for your finale. That's how it comes out. I wish they played a montage of your best moment, and then that's how you find out. I don't know. It's
that's true.
Anticlimactic. The whole finale is just, I want to fast forward. I don't, because I am a true Traitors fan, but I just like, I never truly look forward to the last episode until the last 2 minutes.
Yeah. It's like in Love Island when they're at like a recoupling, and it's the way they edit it. It's like, the person I want to couple up with is, and then there's like a 30-second of just like cutting to different people's faces, reactions and stuff, and it's just like, just say it. Oh my god. Yeah, I get it. When you drag it on too long, it's like, you got us.
And then it's so it's just it's not campy enough. Y'all just made fire turn color like 700 times. Now you're just gonna slowly announce to each other if you're a traitor or faithful.
You're right. They should go harder.
Yeah. And maybe at the end, it's like, okay, now you throw the color to the fire to show if you're a faithful or a traitor. And then that's at least a little more
okay. Yeah.
Interesting. I don't know. Not fully fleshed out yet, just vibes.
No. Traitors, producers, if you're listening, let's chat.
As a viewer of the show, and you were kind of saying earlier, there's a lot of different, you're already grouped into a category of what type of player you are based on the show that you came in with. Are you a lover? Are you a gamer? Are you a housewife? But in terms of an individual player, each player kind of, I find they fall into two camps. They fall into a leader or a follower. And they each have pros and cons, but what do you think? How does it change the game to come in full steam ahead or at the end of the pack?
It's a bad idea to be a leader at the beginning, for sure. Because you put a target on yourself. You're drawing too much attention to yourself. Like, you want to kind of just blend and go with the majority. Yeah, so you're just like kind of building trust, staying off the radar and like just building relationships. But eventually you do need to step up. Otherwise it becomes suspicious that you aren't like Eric was, right? It's like if you're not giving opinions, it's like you're either a traitor or you're bad faithful is like a common thing that people say. It's like not helping us move the game along. So like, why are we keeping you? Like, we might as well.
Do you think that is still going to stick? Because I feel like the game evolves based on people watching the season before, right? So this idea of it's traitor on traitor, that didn't become common language until you watched Boston Rob and Bob the Drake Queen go at it. And then that even kind of adopted that language. And then season 4 immediately adopted that language. I think Rob C immediately was like, do you think that was traitor on traitor? Just clocked it. So do you think that same strategy people will start to call out earlier? Oh, they're sitting back too early. I think that's their intention. Now that becomes the target?
Oh, yeah, maybe. I don't know. What makes it so hard because you have such little information to go off of, because you could interpret that either way. And so there's kind of no winning in how you go about things. Like, this kind of leads us into our conversation about unconscious bias, where it has to come in because you have nothing else to go off of. So it's literally just like what your like gut feeling is on whether you trust this person or not. Like, whether you think it's like
especially
natural
early
to their person to be a leader or a follower, right? And if you have these an unconscious bias towards a certain group of people, like we all do, then you're just going to go with that because you really don't have
that was kind of Lisa Rinna's downfall. Was I think it was Jam was like, or no, it's Colton. He's like, Lisa's a big personality. She is not being very big right now. She has played way too quiet. And just like you're saying, like it's unconscious bias, but at that point it becomes a little bit conscious. But you're like, I'm expecting this housewife to be there larger than life, especially Lisa, who's so big.
Yeah.
And she's just huge. And she played a very quiet game because she was a traitor. So
that's true.
At that point, I was like, oh, that's a good observation too. Because,
it was.
A lot of people are playing quiet. But like you said, coming in with...
I guess, in the reality TV character version, it is slightly different because if you at least have heard of each other, like they're maybe not involved, heard of each other, but if you know like who these people, then you do have kind of like an idea of what their personality is coming in.
But I did a little bit of heavy reading on unconscious bias when the people got Portia out really quick, and they're like, well, because I think Portia was the first one out, and they don't have very much to go off of, and they're just like, we're gonna go with a BIPOC person, Portia. Everyone just jumped on her so fast, and like, that to me is more unconscious bias, where it's like we have this like racist unconscious bias that like white is the best, which is not a conscious thought, but it's basically this like undertone of thoughts that all humans have that we're not aware of, that are like our first thought that we have that's unconscious. So it's not a willful thought. So you're relying on all these like stereotypes that you have that maybe you don't agree with when it comes to the surface, but when you're going and making like very quick decisions and stuff like that, you're like, okay, we're rolling with it. And it's like, what?
If you don't have information to like fill that gap, you're gonna fill it with what you've been taught to trust and fear, and like what looks suspicious, which you've been taught these things like under white supremacy and patriarchy. And so like often it is the marginalized players that are cut earlier. I remember people were really mad about, I think it was season 2 when Peppermint was on, and she's a trans woman, but also a drag queen. And there was a lot of talk about that, about she was basically just cut because it's like...
Yeah, definitely unconscious bias there for sure. But I also feel like, again, Peppermint's at a disadvantage because I don't know how many reality TV stars watch Drag Race. So she's also already coming in with people don't know her, or they don't know much about her.
Yeah.
And so she doesn't belong to a house that people can easily say, okay, gamer, okay, housewife. These are kind of the things that we're going to make you follow her. She's also a little bit of a lot of a question mark. And it's like that uncertainty, gut feeling, I don't know, vote out, vanish.
Meanwhile, good-looking white men like Dylan Efron, like Rouge, like Boston Rob, are
don't
just...
call me out like this.
They're shielded by their likability.
And the system that they all belong to.
Representation in media matters because and a source of diversity in news consumption matters because, you know, when we're all in our bubbles, it doesn't give you an opportunity to like question it or like come up against it because you're just... Yeah. Aside from that, how do you convince people to believe you? Like Maura and Rob, like what did Rob do to Maura to make that finale happen along the way? Like how did he pull that off?
For me, I think part of it is he just remained calm and reliable amongst chaos. If you're going and creating relationships with people based on vibes and you're unconscious bias, but you're more conscious of the vibes, you're going to be drawn. If everyone is paranoid, you're going to be drawn to the person who's not paranoid. And you might take a step back and be like, well, why isn't this person paranoid? But if you're going based on energy and everyone is like, I'm freaking out, I don't know what to do, I'm so nervous, and then there's somebody being like, no, it's okay, we can do this, we got this, let's move forward. They're bringing the energy down, which I think Rob does very well.
Yeah,
people are drawn to that, and he doesn't even need to say any gameplay. He just makes people feel better by calming them, and that is influential, I feel like.
Right.
Otherwise, you could be the Boston Rob approach and just be very good at giving speeches and speaking to your people in the way that you know exactly how they want to be spoken to, laying down the facts that you know they want to hear, leaving out the facts you know that would trigger them. I think 3 as well, just having a good read on tailoring yourself to what each person needs and building authentic relationships as well, because the more that you can remember about somebody, the more that they trust you because they feel like you're listening to them as well. So I do actually think part of it is having a good memory, which I personally have lost so long ago. But
Traitors is this social experiment. It really is this microcosm. Especially, I think it's such a good example of how groupthink works and misinformation spreads in a social network.
Why don't you tell us what groupthink is for the group?
I don't have like a specific definition, but it's like what happens at the round table is like one person will say a name like with confidence and conviction, and like very quickly there's a consensus. And like this is kind of how misinformation spreads too, where it's not just from strangers, but it's like people you trust. If there's people you trust who are saying something confidently and others are like kind of uncertain to defer or like to go against that because it's like kind of socially taboo to do that, then the claim just keeps getting repeated and the repetition reads as confirmation. And then that's just like what everyone knows now. That's kind of how I think about it. Do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah. I think what you said is totally nail on the head. I think in a simple way, it's that you would give up your individual thoughts to conform with the group. And again, it's unconscious. You're not doing it consciously.
Right.
And I think there are certain personalities that are more predisposed to go along with groupthink and other personalities who are more easily able to reject it or not conform. But yeah, it's really just unconscious conformity of just, there doesn't have to be a leader. It's kind of, you make a decision. You're like, oh, what should we do today? You're like going out with a group of friends. Where should we go for dinner? Oh, I don't know. One person says, I don't know. Should we do Indian food? And they don't even really want Indian food. And no one else really wants Indian food, but they don't have any other suggestions. So they go, yeah, if that's what everyone wants. Yeah. Okay, let's go for Indian food. And like, no one even feels that strongly about it. I mean, some people can feel strongly about it, but people are going along with a decision or an idea without like putting their personal thoughts and feelings aside because they're conforming with the group. So yeah, I think you said it perfectly. And a lot of people say this at the round table where they're like, voting for Dylan? I don't know. I just don't know. It's like, well, it's because you heard 4 people say Dylan, so then you said, okay, Dylan.
Yeah.
It's like, why did you do that?
Yeah.
Why did you just put down who you think? And even if it's, some people might not say who they really think because they don't want to be targeted or they don't want to be murdered, and there are like good reasons for it, but there are a lot of people who just say, I just don't know. So I just did what the group said.
Yeah, because there's such a high social cost to be the dissenting voice in the room.
The black sheep.
Yeah, game, and in a game that's so social, like it's even extra risky to do that. Like you have to be I actually think that the drag queens are very good at doing this. Like they don't really go with groupthink as often, and they really stick to their own opinions. And I think it's because they're used to, like, in broader society, like they're already people who don't conform, right? Like that's kind of like a big part of who they are.
They've already had to announce that they are not part of the broader, I don't want to say status quo, but the broader system of heterosexuality.
Yeah.
They already have to say, I'm not what everyone else expects me to be, because our default is that we expect everybody is 100% straight and 100% heterosexual, with personal thoughts aside. But yeah, they've already had to announce. And then if they're performing drag as their job, then they are already also, every day living in their queerness of just mostly. And then, if they're also on Drag Race, they're announcing already to the world, hey, this is who I am. This is what I do. This is my life.
Yeah. They're very comfortable with, like, standing out. The rest, like a lot of other people, like and this is just how, you know, like a lot of how society is, or how like a lot of white people act, you know, in that, like, I don't want to, like, say anything, like, even if I don't necessarily agree, I'm just gonna go with the status quo because the status quo is benefiting me.
Yeah, sure, white people and racism, but also just if you're part of a majority, if you're part of a majority group, then you have this groupthink already. You're part of the majority, so you're riding that.
Yeah. Hence why there's so much backlash to, like, real life activists and social movements. You know, it's like those aren't popular usually, like, to begin with, for sure. Okay, I wanted to pick your psychology brain here, where you have this note that there's no correlation between confidence and accuracy.
Yeah, just like how confident somebody is not related to how accurate they are. Like, confidence is not a correlation. So our memories also, like how confident somebody is in a memory, it doesn't mean it's more accurate. You could bet every single dollar that you have that yesterday you wore green socks, and you're going to bet all your money, and you're going to have a real photo in real time yesterday of you wearing red socks. And that's not a doctrinated photo. That's a real photo. You wore red socks yesterday. And you're like, I was convinced. I remember in my head, wearing green socks. I didn't wear red socks. And it's like, the proof is right there. You're wrong. So how confident you are, there is no correlation. So when people go in and they're like, no, guys, for sure, they're a traitor. They're a traitor, or they're a faithful. I know it in my heart. They're faithful. There's literally nothing that they've done. They're just not. Like when Tara and Johnny, like, I just know them. I just know that's not them. And
you don't know anything.
But you're confident. No, your confidence doesn't make stuff true. Yeah, even real things. For this one, obviously, you wouldn't know whether or not someone's a traitor or not. And there's an unknown to that. But even things that you think you know, you could be wrong. Just because you 100% are confident, 100%, it doesn't mean that it's accurate or true.
Yeah. So what we're learning is to be good at the traitors, before you go in, you should take a media literacy class in which you will learn, when you receive information, it's okay to be uncertain about it. And, like, anyone who is super confident in one thing, like, that's something you should distrust confidence more than you distrust doubt. Because and then also ask yourself who is benefiting from you believing what you believe. Whoever tells you that is confident in that information, why? Like, what do they gain from you believing that? And then diversify your sources. You should just be trusting one person and getting information from one person. And, like, trust your gut to an extent, but you can't take that as truth.
I think that's what I mean with the confidence. Trust your gut, but it's not, like you said, it's not truth. It's just information.
Yeah.
Do you have an example of how media literacy could play out for a player? If a player had taken a media literacy class, how their trajectory in the game could have changed?
So we could use like Mara as an example, right? Where she doesn't diversify her trusted sources because she only believes Rob, and she kind of believes him unquestioningly. Like she isn't ever considering like what he is gaining out of her believing him. And she does have some doubts, but she doesn't
act on them.
Yeah,
she doesn't believe them.
She doesn't follow them. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of how it could have played out in practice, right? Like if she had centered herself a little bit more and not just gone with what one person was wanting her to do and just kind of trusting that they had her best interest at heart, she could have, again, like diversified her information sources. And
yeah, that's actually a good one, because at the end, Johnny and Tara are trying to say, it's Rob. They're like telling her, they're like, it's Rob. And she has a choice. She can either go with Rob and Eric, or she can go with Johnny and Tara. And she chooses Rob and Eric. And she even kind of says at some point, she's like, oh, are they right? Yeah. And then she's like, no, it's also like sunk cost fallacy. I've already invested so much in this Rob relationship. Like I've invested too much. I'm going to keep going with it. And then she doesn't pivot. And
yeah. You have a note here about confirmation bias. And I think that's obviously something that a lot of players do. It's definitely doing that, where it's like you favor information that confirms like what you already believe. And you're not going to look at the information, even if the evidence is in front of you, you're just like not going to, I guess, like receive that. Like, I don't know. How does that work in confirmation bias?
Basically exactly what you said. It's just like, trying to relate it back to Traitors. Was it Ron?
Oh, Ron is a good one. Ron's a good example.
Yeah. So Ron, I'm blessed in, I wanted him to play for way longer, but I think that's confirmation bias at its core. Where like quite early on, somebody was like, okay, Ron isn't saying very much. He's giving me shifty vibes. He's giving me like weird vibes. And everyone's like, okay, maybe it's Ron. And then there was like some votes for him at the round table, but ultimately he didn't go home. I can't remember who went home when his name first got thrown out there. Was it Donna? Okay, because him and Donna were friends too, actually. Yeah. So this also plays into it. So him and Donna were friends. Mama Kelsey. Mama Kelsey was the secret traitor. She goes home. And then they look at him, they're like, well, they were friends. Mama Kelsey and Ron were friends. Why were they friends? They don't have anything in common. They're probably friends because they're both traitors. And that information kind of sticks. And there's no other evidence or other suspicions as to why Ron would be a traitor. But people just have it in their mind. And so there's all this stuff coming up that maybe there's more suspicious people, or maybe he's not a traitor. And people just can't shake this information that they already have. And they're blinders are on and are not willing to kind of go against the impression that they already have. And I think when he does finally get voted out, he says at the round table, he's okay, there's nothing I can do to change your mind. So I'm just going to go around to each of you and just tell you how I enjoyed playing the game with you. And it was so pure. Yeah. And as he's doing that, a few people are like, he's not a traitor. I don't think it's him. He's not a traitor. And as that's happening, and as people are like, no, it's not him anymore, kind of mania starts to ensue. And then someone cuts him off and says, I don't think it's Ron. And then they kind of go to somebody else. And then Alan basically shuts down the round table and it's like, we're voting.
Yeah.
And then people rely on that confirmation bias. And they're like, well, I don't accept the information I just received that it's not him. I heard it, but I just don't trust it. So I'm just going to go with my first impression, which was that he is a traitor because he was friends with Mama Kelsey and he's a little bit quiet. And then he gets out and he's like, guys, like, I'm really sad that I went out this way. I'm a faithful, I'm not a traitor. And I wish that you would have given me basically more benefit of the doubt. And then he goes home. And I was sad when he went home. I wanted to watch him play more. And I actually, without even remembering, I think that's like a pretty good example of the confirmation bias.
Totally. Yeah. Justice for Ron. Okay. Let's end with something fun, which is, who would you want to see on the next season of The Traitors? I have some fun ones here, but
I saw your list. I don't have anyone's. Rip it. Let's hear it.
Okay. Maybe some will come to you as we're going through this. Okay. I have Janae from Love Island. I think from Love Island.
Oh my god, you love that. You love season 6 so much.
I just love to see them win. No, she would also, I would love her as the Bachelorette as well.
Ooh.
I think she'd be good on the Traitors too. Do you know who Meg Stalter is from Hacks? Do you watch Hacks?
I've watched the first few seasons. Is she the old one or the young one?
No, she's the assistant to their manager.
Oh, maybe I haven't seen Hacks. It's the comedian one, right?
Yeah, and they have a manager who's, I forget his name, and then she's his assistant, and she's really funny.
I'm not gonna lie, I watched it. Again, my memory is awful. I watched it I think I watched it last summer. I don't remember, but...
You should follow her on social media. She's like a comedian. She's really funny. You would like her. She does like a lot of very campy, like her thing is she'll like dress up as like a pop star, and
I just followed her. I'm in. Love.
She satirizes pop stars a lot. And the guy that plays the manager in Hacks, like they showed up to some award show wearing like the same outfit that Kylie and Timothy Chalamet had worn to an award show like the week before.
I saw this interview. I saw her on this interview. Okay, I remember watching it and being like, is this satire? I don't know who this is. I'm not totally involved. I thought maybe she was just like doing her own fashion thing. That's actually so funny. Okay.
I think she would be really fun.
Scrolling her social media, I think she'd be hilarious.
And then I have Orna from Couples Therapy. My girl Orna.
Yes! Let's go, Orna! Oh my god, I love her.
She would be so...
Also love that show.
As a therapist, like, she would be good. But also...
She'd probably be first gone.
Yeah, people would get rid of her. She's way too smart. It's true.
Yeah. You're the traitor, though.
Yeah, but people would just get rid of her immediately. Like, people would banish her, too.
But maybe she could pull it together.
That's true. She does have
convince
that, like...
them out of it.
I think she's good at getting people to trust her, so...
People will be like, why is you? She'd be like, I don't know. What do you think? Tell me why.
That would ruin her therapy career, for sure, if she was ever a traitor. But I'd love to see it.
That's true.
From the drag queen realm, I think Trixie Mattel and Katya, they would be fun. It's just chaos.
Chaos. I love both of them, but simply there would be no TV time for anyone else. I love them, but they're like, if Money Exchange is a 10 out of 10, they're like a 13,000.
That's true.
Especially together, because they have their own podcast and they're like besties, they would just be like, oh my god.
Yeah.
They just do their own show.
Yeah,
oh man.
You're right. That would be
great picks. Great picks.
For The Bachelorette, Rachel Lindsay, I'd like to see her on there. She's also used to be a lawyer, is smart. Paige DeSorbo from Summer House. She has the Giggly Squad podcast. Yet. Do you know the Giggly Squad? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. She just like has good takes and can read people. It's just like an entertaining reality person. Whitney Levitt, of course. I know.
She's on my list, actually.
Yeah. She's like a good villain. And then, this is recent from the new season of Real Housewives of Rhode Island, but Liz and Alicia are both like the stars there. Like they all have these like New England accents, and Liz is like the weed queen because her and her husband own like a weed dispensary business or whatever. Oh. And Alicia's just a chaotic, like not a lot going on, but says hilarious stuff all the time. She would be really fun.
That's so good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a well-rounded list. This will be off the top of my head because I did not prep in advance for who I wanted to see on the next season, even though I was thinking of asking you the question. But yeah, Whitney for sure from Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. I think she would be good. I actually also would love to see Rizzo from this current season.
You're a Rizzo convert.
Convert is right, because season 49, I was like, oh my god, I actually can't. But see, it's all the editing. I think he's been this smart and strategic the entire time, and his season 49 edit appealed to that like young crowd, and then you put him with season 50 of all these like very smart players who are all a little bit older. There's not a lot of people in their 20s playing. There's a lot more like seasoned people who played in their 20s and are now in their 30s and 40s, and he just is so good. He's just really good at switching. Big fan. Never thought to say that like you asked me 6 months ago, but would love to see Rizzo play. What else am I watching? I feel like maybe a Love is Blind star could be interesting. I'm trying to think if there's anyone I've actually liked recently.
There's no stars off Love is Blind. Like, that's part of the problem.
There's not. I kind of like that, though, because they're, like, normal human. The ones that, like, Deepti and Natalie. Deepti and Natalie, they have they have a podcast. maybe one of them could go on as like a loved one. Trying to think. There's like a bunch. I would love to see Val from Dancing with the Stars on it. His brother Max was on season 2, I think.
Okay.
And
I think season 2.
Again, a boring edit. He left really quick, which was controversial because he is such a fiery personality. Like, so spicy, so controversial, would fight with the judges all the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And we didn't see that, and he left really quick. So, yeah. But his brother is like a more tamed version. I'd love to see him on there. He would have a similar effect. He's very calming. He could be good. But I don't think he's like entertaining. He's not dramatic. I'm trying to think.
What about like a curveball, like other celebrity or like personality that you think would be good on it? That's like,
oh, let's throw a Jonas brother on there. That could be fun.
Hell yeah. Which one? Any of them?
I mean, realistically, they'd probably get Frankie on there, who's like the bonus Jonas.
That is a character they do. It's like someone who's like related to someone famous. It's like Donna Kelsey.
Dylan Efron.
Yeah, Dylan Efron.
Yeah. You know what? Actually, I would love to see a PWHL player. I'd love to see a female athlete on there. I don't think athletes play, but I would love to see even a retired athlete or a retired WNBA player. That could be fun. Don't have anyone specific in mind, but that could be an interesting take. Or Alana. She could be fun. Alana Maher.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The rugby player. Okay, I'm going to give you 2 more. Oh, another random person. Taylor Lautner's wife. I think she could be interesting. She's also Sidebar famous. They host a podcast together.
Yeah.
I don't follow
they have
her,
the same name.
But
they're not going to name their baby Taylor 2, are they?
Taylor 3. Just kidding.
3.
I'm not sure. Hope not. But also for the bit, can they commit to the bit?
I know, but they might as well. They've gone this far.
Yeah. Okay, one more person. Oh, let's throw, I know they don't do actors, but let's throw heated rivalry stars. We'll do Hudson and Connor. We'll throw them in there just for chaos.
Yeah.
They could be fun. All-star season.
Okay, I just wanted to end with this note that I was thinking of earlier of why I like reality TV in general. I think it's the Elle Woods effect from Legally Blonde, which is like, what I like about it, I like that I can embrace feminine coded or like girly things, be like, I'm just a girl, but also be able to analyze it from like a more critical standpoint. I can still be smart and like this stuff, and I don't have to fit into like either box. And you know, all the smartest women I know love reality TV, and I think that's like you're saying too, like the social part of it, like outside of it, it's like you just get to be with the girls and chat about these silly things, but you can do it in a smart way. And yeah, so I'm calling it the Elle Woods effect.
I love that. Trademark it, benchmark it, tattoo it. I think, I love that. I resonate with that completely. Yeah, I love it. I don't know if you can tell, but I love to talk. I love to talk about reality TV. So yeah, I do think there's a whole underworld of watching reality TV these days, which I know I was born at the right time, because I love watching a show or watching a series or investing in some sort of content and then going to my social media and hearing everybody else's hot takes, opinions, deeper conversation of what I just watched. I'm like, I can critical think, and there are like definitely things that if I spent more time pinpointing, I'd be able to flush out. But I love just getting into the rabbit hole of, wow, this person accurately summed up exactly how I'm feeling watching this, and they are able to point to things that I didn't catch, and I just understand what I just watched even better. And it is this analyzing logistical perspective. One of my new favorite things is watching TV and then going to TikTok and watching more content about what I just watched. Low-key, not reality TV, but have you seen the drama yet with Rob, Pat, and Zendaya?
No, it's on my list for sure.
Yeah, Jenna and I watched it as our first movie out, like one of the first times you got a babysitter, and it was so good. But then the TikTok rabbit hole of debriefing stuff I didn't catch, and it was almost as good as the movie, just having these connected webs of just like all these different takes. And the other part I like too is you can take it or you can leave it. You don't have to resonate with everything everybody's saying, But it just gives you more information to collect, and the dialogue just keeps continuing. And I think, yeah, part of what you're saying is that just a girl is enjoying it, and then also the gossip sesh about it. I do what's the tea of what we just watched, like how's everyone feeling? Let's get emotional and talk shit about the people that we just watched on TV who we have no invested interest in but are very invested in.
Yeah. But I think this is totally normal, and like this is like the girl in quotes version of that, where, you know, I talk about, I don't think I've said it on the show yet, but like how reality TV is a sport. It's sports for women. And so it's automatically kind of like just like not taken as seriously because it's for women, and women just aren't taken as seriously. But like how there's ESPN like 1 through fucking 75, and it's 24/7 channels of like not just watching the games, but like analysis of it and like conversations about it and the trades and the
highlights.
Yeah, there's so much about those games and like fantasy leagues and stuff that go on outside of the actual game. And I think that's like very similar to what you're speaking to, right? And people who are really into that, like that's where they find community and camaraderie and all that stuff. So it's the same thing.
Oh my gosh. I have always heard you say reality TV is a sport, and I've always been like, ha ha, hee hee. But hearing you actually say it in that way, where no, Sportsnet, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry of just talking about the sports game that already happened, and talking about the sports game that will happen. Wow, you just blew my mind, because I mean, as women, not taking seriously, and a woman's interest not taking seriously, and everything not taken seriously, but it should be, because I don't want to talk about sports. I want to talk about
like, okay, sports, I get it. They have like their value. I enjoy sports too, but ultimately they're stupid. Like, it's stupid. And guess what? Same with reality TV, okay? Like, at least we're trying to understand society, apply all these different theories to what we're watching, you know?
This is true. That's so funny. I don't think sports are stupid, but I think it's stupid that it's $1 trillion industry. I think that is stupid. Yeah. And I'm going to be in both worlds. I'm going to be watching my women's sport and my women's TV, my reality TV, my little love the Elle Woods effect. I
because
love that.
Just like Elle Woods, you will be put in a box and you can have it all.
I love that. We should get Elle Woods tattooed. I'm just throwing that out there.
I'm in. That's It's Called Reality,
the discourse for people who give a shit.
Find us at It's Called Reality on Instagram and TikTok, and go to whatcanido.earth to get all of our episodes. Please hit subscribe and leave us a 5-star review.
And tell your group chat. That's how we grow.